Laser sights are an essential firearms training tool, clearly correcting and improving the two most important shooting fundamentals, aiming and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Obviously, we talk about training a lot. Simply because you have to work at it to be good at anything. You have to practice. But, practice isn't really enough, especially if you don't. One of the problems is a lot of the folks on the gun side think they know things until they go get real training, and they always come away with, wow, I had no idea how much I didn't know. So training and practice go together. If you're practicing just the stuff you think you should be practicing, if you've never had any formal training in it, how do you know if you're doing the right thing? And maybe you're actually practicing the wrong thing. Well, one of the guys who is a true student of firearms training and one of the best instructors I've ever worked with is Tiger McKee from Shootrite, and he joins us right now. Hey, Tiger, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, sir?
I am excellent. I know you probably on a weekly basis get the whole, I never thought of that, I had no idea reaction.
Oh, yes, sir. The majority of the things we do with firearms don't come instinctually. And so, in fact, a lot of the things we have to do to use them safely and efficiently go against our natural instincts. So it's not something you're going to pick up on your own unless maybe, you had 1,000 years to work on it or something like that.
And you try all the things that are wrong. And one of the things, and I tell people, one of the reasons you go to a trainer like you is because you've seen all of the ways to do it wrong, and you spend, the rest of us are working on different things in our lives. You're working on how to teach this stuff better. What's going to work better? Let's try this. Does that work any better? This is what's always been taught, but maybe there's a better way. And, we do learn. I mean, we're not teaching the same things that we did 40 years ago.
Yeah, the training, the techniques and all have evolved some. Like always, the fundamentals have been the same forever. Mm-hmm. Sure. But the actual techniques evolve a little bit and everything. And then also, sometimes you have to take a known technique that works, but then modify it for an individual so it'll work for their specific application.
Oh, and one of the things that occurs to me that you probably spend a fair amount of time with is getting people who, particularly if they've shot a lot, to break out of just standing in one place and shooting.
Yeah, if you're working on the defensive skills, protecting your life, family, whoever you may be accountable for, held accountable for, your responsibility, defending yourself is a lot different from just standing there and shooting groups on paper. You want to be working on moving to create distance, get to cover for protection. You're issuing verbal commands because a threat may comply if you tell them what to do. And then you're learning how to solve this particular type problem.
It's, it's moving, it's shooting, it's communicating, and as you say, if you can issue a verbal command, if you can tell him, stop now, drop the gun, go away, if he does any of those things, that's working in your favor already.
Oh, that's a big plus for sure. Anytime we can avoid being even in a confrontation, we're miles ahead.
Yeah, because nobody says just because you're the good guy that you're going to win.
Definitely. And we've got to be thinking, like always, we train and we practice and we work on this stuff with the hopes that we never have to ever use it. And so, at the top of our list of tactics is avoidance and escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the best way to win a gunfight is to not be there when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, every fight you're not involved in is one you won.
Exactly. All right, let me ask you something. I've been thinking about this recently, and it's one of those deals that we all do this. I keep thinking, I need to do this. I need to do this, and I haven't done it yet. And I'm talking specifically about maybe going ahead and permanently putting a light, white light, on my carry gun. What do you think?
I think it's got a lot of advantages. One of the disadvantages would be now you have to wear a bigger holster. The lights have gotten smaller, but it does create a little more bulk. But having that light on that pistol, both of them combined into one package, makes it a whole lot easier. There are techniques we can use with handheld lights for sure. We've been doing it a long time. But if you can put those two in one package, it kind of frees up another hand that you might need to do something else.
It does. I was actually at a public venue. It was dark the other day, and I was thinking, well, I've got my handheld light in my pocket, and I have my pistol with me. And I'm thinking, but that means you got to go digging in a pocket as well as drawing your gun and then using, your one of the techniques we use for, and there are several different ones. Whereas if it's attached to the pistol, you just come out, flick the switch, it comes on, and do what you need to do. I've been putting it off for the very reason you say. It means you got to get a different holster, and it's going to be a little bit larger holster, et cetera, and they're all excuses. I know what I need to do. I'm just making excuses, Tiger.
Well, and like Clint Smith always says, carrying is supposed to be comforting, maybe not comfortable.
So true. Now, you teach, obviously, low light and, dark shooting techniques. How important, and a lot of people say, I have night sights. So I don't need a light. What do you think?
Well, the night sight will help you maybe shoot more accurately in the dark, but the deal here, if it's so dark that you can't see your sights, you definitely cannot identify the target. And we've got to make sure, this does indeed represent a threat. It's not a family member or a friend who maybe is in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we use the light for a whole lot more. We identify the threat. Is it indeed a threat? Are we justified in shooting? But I also use it to navigate unfamiliar terrain. I might need to use it as like a communication device to show somebody where I am. There's a lot of uses for that light. It's kind of like, in the old days, everybody carried a pocket knife.
Right.
I think the same applies to a light today. There's so many lights in such small packages, there's no reason not to have a flashlight with you.
Yeah, and I tell you, once you start carrying one of these small lights in your pocket, you end up using it a dozen times a day. After a while, you wonder, how did I ever get along without one?
Oh, yeah, it's surprising. Especially you get older and you don't see in the dark as well, and you drop something, you're like, there's my flashlight.
Get my flashlight. And the other thing I will say, take a little piece of yellow electrician's tape and wrap it around the barrel of your light, because if you drop your light, it's black. It's hard to see.
Well, and that's why you always need a spare light. So again, they're so small you can carry two of them, and if having a spare means you're never without.
All right, the question, I'm sure you get gear questions all the time. 9, 40, or 45? Does it matter?
In my opinion, and according to hard scientific information, no, sir. The advances in the ammunition have come so far in the past years that really from 380 up to 45, as far as pistol rounds go, they're all going to be about the same. We know it's going to take multiple shots with a pistol, regardless of the caliber, to stop the threat.
That's a good point. And so when you're training, you need to train that if you're going to engage to try to save your life, you need to just be thinking, I'm going to shoot several times. I'm going to shoot until the threat's gone. It may, probably if you go bang, 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 and, the guy's gone at that point, great, you stop. But in my head, and I don't know, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Tiger, but in my head, when I play this scenario out, and I do it every day, I am going to shoot. If I have to shoot, I'm going to do it several times. I'm going to do it fast, because I know that the likelihood of one shot being effective is very low.
Yes, sir. What we teach is, and this applies to everything, what we call the doctrine of good surprise. I'm thinking this shot is not going to work. Where am I going to shoot them next? And eventually, what I'm doing is going to work, and that'll be a good surprise as to just coming up, popping off a couple of rounds, and then going, oh, wait, that didn't work. What do I need to do now?
You know, people wear body armor now. So if you're shooting them and it's not having an effect, shoot them somewhere else. Do something else. Change something.
Like, I pray that this never happens, right? You with me there? But if I do ever have to shoot somebody, trust me, I'm going to shoot them really good.
Shoot them really good.
And they'll tell me when I have shot them enough.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they will tell you when you shot them enough.
Yes, sir. It's not going to be me deciding. I stop shooting when I get the reaction I'm looking for. Either they go, ow, this hurts, they run away, good, or physically they're not capable of continuing the fight, and they'll tell me when they reach that point.
Exactly. That is excellent. Just for people to know that your training facility is near Gunnersville, Alabama. You also will take it on the road for that. The website is Shootrite, SHOOTRITE.org, shootrite.org. And I'm going to plug your book again and your DVDs because they're so good. The Book of Two Guns is a graduate course in this stuff. We could do this for 2 hours. We just don't have it. But, Tiger, I just got to applaud you for everything you do. I think you add an awful lot to the body of knowledge of defensive shooting and training. Well,
and I appreciate the work you do, sir.
Well, we're all just doing our little part out there. But, man, I just want to tell people, when and I've done this, when I had like a free time, I would call Tiger and say, do you have a half a day? Do you have any time? I'll run over there. I'll buy time for Tiger because I know I don't get enough training. I shoot a fair amount, but I don't train enough. It's probably true of all of us. Well, Tiger, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, Tiger McKee, check it out. He's got a great book. It's all on his website, shootrite.org. All right, time for you. We got Charles, we got Vagim, I believe it is, and we have room for you. 866-TALK-GUN. What kind of craziness have you seen at the range when people are sighting in their guns? Used guns can be a great value, but you have to know who you're buying from. What if you could buy quality used guns with a lifetime warranty from the Internet's largest online reseller? That's what you get at Dury'sGuns.com. They stand behind every firearm purchase for life. If you have a problem, they'll either fix or replace your gun. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, and more. Check out their inventory today at Dury'sGuns.com.
When you want the highest quality ammunition, look to HSM. Since 1968, hunters and shooters have counted on HSM cartridges, including world-renowned Trophy Gold, featuring Berger VLD bullets, Pro Pistol Hunter, Cowboy Action, and the new Game King, featuring field-proven Sierra bullets. HSM's new revolutionary low-recoil rifle loads hit game hard, but kick much less. Low-recoil loads use standard weight-for-caliber Sierra hunting bullets in 7 popular calibers. HSM at your local shooting sports retailer.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
It's really pretty simple. Your carry gun is a life-saving device. It must be with you. That's what the Springfield Armory XDS is all about. Small enough to carry, big enough to shoot comfortably, shockingly slim, single stack, with a 3.3-inch or 4-inch barrel, available in 9, 40, or 45. Highly accurate, great trigger, fiber optic front sight for fast aimed fire. the XDS at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
All right, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I am at Gun Talk there. I've been putting out a bunch of tweets today, as a matter of fact, news items. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, and we're Gun Talk over there. You kind of get a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on at Gun Talk. A lot of things going on there. See how we make TV and everything else. Let's see. Charles is on line 2. He is... What happened when you went to a concert here, Charles?
Yeah. Hi. My wife and I went and saw Ted Nugent concert locally. Uh-huh. And I got to say, I'm a fan of yours and a big fan of Mr. Nugent. Best concert we've ever been to in our lives.
Oh, cool.
But, yeah, it was great. He's amazing, absolutely amazing. I recommend it to anybody. However, not that I wanted to carry, and I'm a permit holder, concealed permit holder in Nevada. Upon entry, we were all wanded, and bags were inspected by private security, and there was a big sign there that said, "No guns allowed, no weapons."
Oh, interesting.
So,
I'm wondering.
Yeah, I mean,
because this story that I mentioned earlier came out just like last week, and I'm wondering. Of course, now I know that there are some venues where that's just their policy. But this story came out of Ted last week of saying that he told, I think it may have been in Roanoke, Virginia, he told them absolutely guns are welcome there. And so I don't know what the difference was or if this is a change in his policy, if he's going to be telling all the venues that. But that's it. That is interesting that when you went there that they were checking bags, and they did have a no-gun sign there, huh?
Yes, there was a sign, and we were all wanded, and my wife's pocket, purse was inspected visually by security, and I don't have a problem with that personally. In fact, I didn't want to carry there because I just thought there'd be plenty of people carrying. And,
well, of course, you also have the added thing of it's Las Vegas, and after.
But this is not Las Vegas. This is Gardnerville.
Gardnerville. Okay, that's where the concert was.
Yeah, it was up in Gardnerville, south of Reno, about 45 miles.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was Vegas for some reason.
Yeah, no, it was sold out. Huh. It was amazing.
All right.
I got to thank the owner of the property for having them. But
all right. Well, that's good. Thank you for having them. And also tell them, and by the way, I wish you would not have the no guns policy, because what am I supposed to do going in and coming out if I get attacked? How am I supposed to protect myself and my wife and my family? So, I mean, I got a problem. So, with that. Yeah, and I have been, and look, thanks for the call. I have been, went to a concert years ago now. My sister really wanted me to go to it. And as I got up to the door, I realized that they were patting people down, and they kind of pat my pocket and say, "What's that?" I said, "Well, that's a pocket knife." I said, "Well, you can't take that in." I said, "Well, that's okay. I don't need to go in." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I don't need to go in." "But you have a ticket." I said, "Yeah. But if I can't take my knife in, I'm not going in." My sister thought I was nuts. They thought I was nuts. I went to watch a movie. Yeah, I paid for the ticket, the whole deal, but no. No, it's just no. It was real simple. Not for me. Line 1, Vagim is with us out of Connecticut. Sir, what happened at the range?
Hi, Tom. I just wanted to share my experience with switching guns. I've been quite a faithful Ruger shooter for the last maybe 4 or so years.
Okay.
I started with the one that you mentioned is underrated, the SR9, which is an excellent gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then later I switched to Ruger American, another very good gun.
Mm-hmm.
And, I shoot competitively, and also I take some training. And at some point I hit a certain plateau. I would try, maybe not dry firing enough, but nevertheless, the progress kind of stalled.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, it was more of an accident rather than a planned event. I started shooting SIG P320 full set. And all of a sudden, things started coming together. And I realized that, the previous guns, as good as they were, they were not really made for my hand, maybe. There are, 8 or so billion hands in the world, and only maybe a couple of hundreds of grips, right?
Right.
Fire. So all of a sudden, before when you draw, and you aim, the front sight would always go up a little bit, the way my hands are. So I every time I have to make this micro adjustment a little bit lower.
Sure.
With a SIG, you draw, basically I stick my finger out like punching, and you know what? The sights are right there. They're level, they're on the spot, and a couple of other things like the trigger pull. And the bottom line is that I would like to encourage everyone to do two things, judging from my experience. One is to try different guns, because you may be surprised what you find out.
Right.
And second, try them not just, putting holes on paper, because all guns are the same when you're not under stress.
When you're taking your time.
Try to do it competitively or at a class which puts you under some pressure. Usually it's a timer.
That's a great idea. Yeah, of course, you know what's going on here. I mean, and I know you understand it, is you have a slightly different grip angle on the P320 as from the other guns, so that when you punch your hand out the way that your arm, wrist, hand is all aligned for that gun, one of them lines up with the muzzle slightly high, but you have the different grip angle on the SIG, and it lines up perfectly. You know, here's a thought for you. Let me bounce this off of you. If you were going to try it in a store, what if you took that gun and basically closed your eyes and punched out, and then opened your eyes and see if it's lined up?
I tried that. Again, the problem is, and that's the reason I emphasize the more kind of stressful environment.
Sure.
That it's very easy to overlook those differences are really tiny, and they show up. When like a fraction of a second counts. Right,
when you're moving from target to target and you're moving and everything else. Excellent point and a great story. I really appreciate that, Vadim. That is good info. Yeah, try different guns. It's the reason we all have, a lot of us have, a number of different guns. We like different ones for different things. But, yeah, sometimes it's like buying a different set of golf clubs. Just the very act of changing makes you focus on them and makes you better because you're paying more attention. I'm not saying that it's not real, but hey, if it works, do it.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
It occurs to me, all this talk about 3D printing of guns, and of course the federal government has acquiesced, basically admitted that they were wrong in blocking Cody Wilson and his Defense Distributed group from putting files on the internet, files that would allow you to do 3D printing of guns. So the government has said, yeah, we've screwed up, and yeah, we're going to pay you some money, and yes, you can go ahead and put those up. And oh, by the way, one of the things that people are missing that's really important, in its documents, the federal government says, and yes, we do certify that semi-automatic firearms that up to 50 caliber are not military weapons. So all this noise about AR-15s being military weapons, no, the government says they're not. Of course, the gun ban lobby doesn't seem to care. They call them military style weapons because they really care about the style more than what it actually is. Well, it gets even weirder and frankly funnier than that when you listen to Chuck Schumer, okay? Senator Chuck Schumer talking about the 3D printed guns, which the gun ban lobby, they like to apply these scary terms. Go back 50 years, they called them Saturday night specials. Then they called them junk guns, and then assault weapons. And they make up all these names. Now they call these ghost guns. Ooh. So, here's Chuck Schumer. All right, wait for it, because, come on, you need to laugh today. I am sounding an alarm that come August 1, America is going to get a lot less safe when it comes to the gut-wrenching epidemic of gun violence. Got to make sure we get that phrase in, right? Gun violence is down by 50%, but he's still calling it an epidemic. Schumer said, quote, "Ghost guns are not only scary, they're outright dangerous in the way they can mimic the look and capacity of hardened, fully semi-automatic weapon." What? Let's try that one again. Ghost guns are not only scary, but they're outright dangerous in the way they can mimic the look and the capacity of a hardened, fully semi-automatic weapon. So they're scary, so we need to ban them for that. And they're dangerous because they can mimic a gun. Not only a gun, a hardened gun, whatever that is, and a fully semi-automatic gun. Is that like a manual automatic transmission? God, what a tool. Weird. Just weird how nutso they get about this stuff. I guess I should point out, you do understand that it is legal to make your own gun. Okay? According to the federal government, according to the ATF, it's already legal to make your own gun. You can go on the ATF website. That's one of the questions they get. One of their top 10 questions. Can I make my own gun? Yes, you can. And there's some stipulations about that. But they are losing their minds over this. It is hilarious. Hal's on line 4 out of Trapper Creek, Alaska. Hal, you got a sighting-in story for me.
Yes, my wife and I were in California, and we went to our local range early in the morning. We were going to do some position work for an upcoming service rifle match. We wanted to do some rapid-fire setting, and we were a little surprised when we got there that morning, and there was already another shooter on the range. Mm-hmm. And while we were putting up target backers, or stapling targets to backers, this man was shooting at 100 yards offhand with a bolt-action rifle, and he fired, 3 or 4 times while we were getting ready. We took a break and was walking down to put our targets up, and I asked him how it was going, and he told me it was not going very well. He bought this new rifle at a box store, and he had already went through a box of shells, and he only had 14 left out of the other ones, and he hadn't hit the target yet. And so I said, did you sight it in? He says, well, that's what I'm trying to do. I said, okay. We went down there. Sure enough, there was not a hole anywhere on the backer. I was coming back, said, let's drag your target in here 25 yards and get it on paper and find out what we needed to adjust it. Mm-hmm. So we brought it back there, and I said, I'm going to show you a little secret that I learned, and I was doing the scope in the bore trick for him. He said, okay. So we took the bolt out of the rifle and bagged it, got the bore lined up, and I looked through the scope, and it had a fixed 4-power scope on it, but the target looked like it was still out at 100 yards. That scope had been put on that rifle backwards. He bought that rifle at that store. It was a 30-06 Savage. They had on sale. He bought the last one. He got the one off of the rack, the demo model, and went out there. And so I said, you got a screwdriver handle handy? I see the problem. And he went over to get this screwdriver. It had the Weaver-style rings on it.
Right, okay. So you got lucky on that one, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't tighten down. So I turned the scope around while he got his screwdriver. We tightened everything up, got him going. And you know what was struck me is really hilarious was the man never said when he looked back through that scope that, what happened here? Things look a lot closer now. But he was going hunting, deer hunting in New Mexico with his father-in-law, and just bought this rifle. I had never fired a rifle before. We finally got him straightened away where he was getting probably a 6-inch group at 100 yards and probably as good as it was going to get. But my wife and I chuckled a little bit to ourselves as all this was happening, and afterwards we thought, this is a pretty sad case. A guy with absolutely no training and no mentorship out there trying to struggle through it. I don't know. It's just
Well, I'm pulling several things from that. Number one, good on you for walking over and talking to him and helping him and not making him feel like an idiot and not making fun of him, just trying to help him out because he clearly didn't know. And, yeah, he probably got the demo model that they had the 14-year-old at the store mount the scope on it for the display, and nobody knew the difference, although I know an awful lot of 14-year-olds who can shoot really well and know the difference, but there you go. But more than that, and I think it goes to the point you're bringing up, Hal, is there are others out there who probably are in the same boat, don't know where to start, don't know that they don't know. And I guess I would just offer this. If you're one of those, if you're listening, admit you don't know and go find some help. You will find that at every shooting range anywhere, if you go to the folks who run it and say, look, I don't really know much about this, can somebody help me get this thing sighted in or get me started on this? Somebody will show up, and maybe it's a Hal who just says, hey, yeah, sure, I can help you with that. The other thing is that we just need more instructors. We need more people out there. But anyway, Hal, thank you for what you did, and good on you. That's a job well done. A big old gun talk attaboy for you. Tell you what, don't go anywhere. If you're on hold right now, we're going to get to you really quickly. We also have room for you if you'd like to join us. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
There's only one place where you can buy that firearm you've always wanted and turn it into your very own. That place is Brownells.com. Now offering a huge selection of firearms from all your favorite brands. Brownells is the spot to buy online. When you're choosing your gun, be sure to look over the enormous selection of parts, accessories, ammo, and more to make that firearm your masterpiece. Brownells.com. Serious about firearms.
Laser sights are an essential firearms training tool, improving the skill level of the shooter by enhancing proper fundamentals like sight alignment and trigger control, and providing life-saving practices that can be depended on in moments of crisis. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
It's America's favorite .22 rifle. No matter how, where, or what you like to shoot, there's a Ruger 1022 for you. From the carbine to the incredible takedown models, the tactical and target versions, all Ruger 1022 models have a legendary action and detachable 10-round rotary magazine. Whether you're hunting squirrels or tin cans, there's a lifetime of fun in every Ruger 1022 rifle. See them all at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
Interesting discussion going on over on Twitter. If you don't, you should jump over there. Follow me at Gun Talk on Twitter. With people saying, well, we should just call the NRA what it is. It's an organization of murderers. It promotes gun murders. Oh, really? Well, how many of these mass shooters have been NRA members? I don't know of any. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but to date, I don't know of a single one that was an NRA member. I'm not sure how the NRA can possibly be blamed for that. That should be the NRA that has 50,000 plus certified firearms safety instructors. It's to be the NRA that promotes safe gun storage, the NRA that promotes responsible and safe gun ownership. Interesting. Let's say Kendall's on line 2 out of Utah. What you looking for there, Kendall?
Well, I have a Korean Daewoo K2 DR100. It's side-folded, kind of a mix between an AR, an AK, and an FAL.
I remember it.
Yeah, neat little rifle. The bolt carrier blew up on me and took out the upper receiver, and I can't find parts for that thing anywhere. I was wondering if you had any ideas.
Well, is the receiver gone?
The upper receiver is, the lower is fine, the bolt carrier is broke. Basically, I need an upper receiver. Complete upper receiver.
I don't know where you're going to find one, but I think what you're going to have to end up doing is buying you another rifle, identical rifle, and use the one you have now for parts.
Yeah.
I know.
It's been a long time since I've seen one.
I was going to say, it's you probably could jump on Gunbroker and find one, and I don't know what they're going for. By the time you're done with all of that, you may end up saying, oh, heck, I'll just get me a nice AR-15 and let it go at that.
Yeah, this thing had a little bit of charm to it. I wouldn't mind fixing it if I could find.
I remember them. They were kind of cool looking and interesting and all of that. But you're right. I don't think I've seen anything. I don't know when I assume they stopped making them. I just haven't seen anything about them in probably 15 years now.
I think the South Korean military is still using them. They quit importing them right after the assault rifle ban. They had the DR200, which was the post-ban version with the thumb-hole stock. That would work too, but I haven't seen one in a long time.
What you might want to do is jump on Gunbroker, just see what they're going for, and you may say, hey, I'll just buy another one of those, and now I've got this assorted parts off the one that blew up on you. Other than that, I think maybe you're going to be in a pickle, but I wish you luck with it. Look, I'm going to put out the word. If anybody knows where you can get parts, maybe an upper receiver for that, give me a holler. We'll see if we can help Kendall out here. Line 1, Jim's in Casper, Wyoming. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Tom. With all this talk of the Armalite platform being a military weapon, whether it's true or not is really irrelevant. I wonder if you could apprise the audience of the High Court's decision in United States versus Miller.
Well, the Miller case is a fascinating case. I believe, if I remember right, it was 1939. Miller ended up not being there for the argument. Actually, no one made an argument for Miller at that point because he was dead when it finally got to the Supreme Court. But basically what the Supreme Court said, because he had been charged with having a sawed-off shotgun, the Supreme Court said, lacking evidence that this arm has a military use, then we find that it was okay to charge him with that. So what they were saying, it's kind of a backwards way to say it, what they were saying was, and I think this is probably your point, if the gun had had a military use, then it would have been legal to own it, which is like saying, yes, because a gun that would have a military use, you can own it, then that might mean you could own a saw or any full auto or anything else. So Miller has been misunderstood ever since it came out. But honestly, at this point, it probably has been superseded, I would say, almost in entirety by the Heller decision by the Supreme Court, which now says that the government cannot ban any gun that's in common use. Now what we need is for the Supreme Court to actually take a case on the gun bans of California and other states where they do have gun bans. We need to get those in because when you ban AR-15s and other semi-automatic rifles, those are most certainly in common use. We just got to get the court to take it, and maybe getting Kavanaugh on the court is going to be the key. Our number, 866-TALK-GUN. Yeah, you can't shoot it if you can't see it. Simple as that. Ron's got a story about that on line 4 out of Texas. Hey, Ron, what happened here?
Hey, man. I went to the optometrist the other day, and I bought some occupational glasses, is what they're called, sometimes referred to as electrician glasses. The bifocal is actually it's got bifocal on the bottom and on the top of the lens.
Right.
So when I shoot, I normally just tilt my head a little bit forward, and with these glasses, it forces you to concentrate on the sights on the handgun, and it also blurs out your long distance vision, so you have the tendency to stay focused on the sights.
Right.
So it's really made a great improvement in my shooting. I'm getting old now, and the eyes are going, but it's brought me back in the game, so to speak.
As you know, I've talked about this a lot. When you get past about 40, 45, the doctor's going to use the B word, the bifocal word on you. And all of a sudden, that front sight's not as sharp as it used to be. And if you end up wearing regular bifocals, you tilt your head way up trying to get the sight in focus, and that's no good. And you put the bifocal on the top, you just tilt your head down. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like magic. The front sight pops into sharp focus, and the target blurs a little bit out there, which is good. That's what you should be doing anyway. You should let the target blur. And it's this weird, and I'd love to get you to talk about it, Ron. It's this weird thing where you shoot just looking at the front sight, and you don't see the target really sharp. You don't even see the bullet holes. And then when you look up and focus on the target, you go, wow, that's a good group.
Absolutely, yeah. I used to never shoot it at less than 25 yards, but, as I got older, I'm like, okay, I'll shoot some at 15 yards, and I'm still missing, and got frustrated with it, so went ahead and bit the bullet. Yeah, I tried to stick on lenses and all that kind of stuff. They just didn't work for me. They never fit exactly right on the glasses that I wore, and they were falling off, and, one thing after another. So, anyway.
Let me throw this out, and I don't know what you paid for them, but there's a place on there, and I have no connection to this place at all, okay, so just fair warning. It's called SafetyGlassesUSA.com, SafetyGlassesUSA.com. They've got these bifocals, tops and bottom glasses for $15.
Wow, that's good.
Probably less than you paid, huh?
I paid more than that.
Well, I mean, this thing, you buy like 10 of them, and they're just plastic, and if you break them or they get scratched, you just get out another one. But yeah, SafetyGlassesUSA.com. You got to just do a search there for top bifocal. And that's what I did. I found them there. Pretty cool, though. It's a cool system, I got to tell you. The idea, of course, is that you put the bifocal up at the top of the lens. That's why I talk about you can get the stick-on kind. Optics 2020 is the brand. Stick them on the top of your regular shooting glasses. If you've paid a lot of money for shooting glasses and you want to just use those, you can use a stick-on. Or you could buy these less expensive ones that have top and bottom. Yeah, he mentions they're used for electricians. If you're having to do some wiring up above your head and you need bifocals, man, it's a bear. You can't tilt your head far enough back to get the bifocal part of your, on the lower lens in there. So these are great. If you are in that 40 and then beyond, I would offer that and if you're into the bifocal world, you might want to take a look. I think it could change your shooting experience and really make it a lot more fun to get out there and shoot. Because while shooting is fun, hitting is a whole lot more fun. Shooting successfully is fun. Oh, and by the way, do not use these or any other bifocal when you're wing shooting. You need single vision glasses for wing shooting. And it's hard to do wing shooting with progressive lenses. Your head's moving all around trying to find the sharp place. You need a solid anchor when you're doing that. What is your experience? Where have you been out at the range shooting? Have you bought anything new that's cool? Call me, 866-TALK-GUN.